Actress Terry Crews believes that his former agency, William Morris Endeavor, has bugged his home and hacked his son's computer in retaliation of the ongoing lawsuit the actor has with his former agency. Last October, Terry Crews was eye-opening shock to media and to the public when he revealed that he had been sexually assaulted at a WME party by then motion picture department head Adam Bennett, who has since then been demoted from his position at WME, but is still working there, and that isn't sitting well with Crews either. He says, quote, "I believe my family is being tracked and possibly bugged. Someone hacked into the computer my son and I built together, and I have to shut it down and replace the hard drive." So what Terry is saying is that the agency is doing all they can to discredit him, to find out more information, to get anything they can use against him in this ongoing lawsuit with the agency, which I, believe it or not, believe it's probably happening.
No, I think so too. I mean, this case is so interesting because I feel like in other sexual harassment and assault cases, most of them anyways, the person who is sexually harassing or assaulting people, they're shut down pretty immediately. Right. They're taken completely out of their job. They're pretty much canceled, as I like to say. But this, it's funny because the person still works there, just demoted. Just demoted. Still works there. He's an agent. I mean, we know how agents work. They all work together anyway. So he's still in the mix. There's something that WME is doing to try to hide something.
Of course.
Yeah, and it's really, really shady. And even, in the tweets, Terry Crews says that the LAPD task force detectives let me know that these people don't play fair. There are a lot of secrets to protect and they will do anything to keep them. Right. That was very unsettling. Yeah. They are willing to bug this guy's computer, like find out what he knows, try to, infiltrate his own personal space to try to, knock him down so that they can keep their secrets together. It's really unsettling to me.
The person that assaulted Terry Crews was Adam Bennett. He was the then head of motion picture at WME, which is a really high-ranking position. He was suspended and then brought back, but demoted. So that in itself was a huge red flag for Crews, and didn't sit well with him at all. What was also really crazy about this is that WME tried to employ Russell Simmons, who, by the way, is now entangled in his own scandal, to talk to Terry Crews because, he's black, brother,
he's a dude,
it's a black dude. He's Uncle Russ. He could possibly coax Crews into having a change of heart in regards to his stance with the agency, which to me was just, that is some Hollywood BS. When you think, they always think that I mean, as a community, you have a camaraderie, you have a relationship, right? But what's wrong is wrong. You're not gonna go have you're not gonna have Michael Strahan come and talk to me and try to convince me of something I know is wrong.
Exactly.
That's just a low blow. That's even shittier. That's just as shitty as trying to bug and hack your computer. I think that was very unsettling for me. Crews took to Twitter and said, "Retaliation in some form is expected. I would be naive to think otherwise. But vulnerability and openness is actually my best protection, so I'm ready." What has been so surprising about this, Darren, with Terry Crews is that one, let's keep it brutally honest and really real. Looking at Terry Crews, when I first heard the story, I thought, wow, I would never have thought in a million years that Terry Crews, a man who exhibits hypermasculinity, is on first glance scary as a mofo, would be a victim of sexual assault. And it's so crappy for me to say that, but that's how I felt. That was honestly what came to mind.
Yeah, and sometimes I think that that's the reason why we don't hear more about his story, because it is ongoing and it hasn't gone away. And that also bothers me because it is equally as bad when a guy who does, exude hypermasculinity is, touched in a way that he doesn't want to be touched. But one thing I wanted to say was I am really glad that he is being so open and vulnerable. And I think that will be his best protection, is just airing out all the dirty laundry that is sent his way, basically. Right. So I hope that he continues to fight. I hope that the LAPD is, willing to help him. It seems like they are, and I hope that they get to the bottom of this and just uncover whatever WME is trying to hide here.
Yeah, what's an element of this is that money. We always talk about how at the bottom of this, at the core of this, it's money. WME is worth $8.2 billion. Yeah. So that's a hefty chunk of change that's possibly on the line when you start having major hitting clients. Like, let's say I'm a client, I'm signed to like a 6-movie deal deal with Warner Brothers and I defect to UTA where Terry Crews is now a client at, I'm taking my dollars with me. And so at the end of the day, it's all about revenue. It's all about staying profitable. And Terry Crews is doing the right thing. You know, he was afraid of being blacklisted. He was afraid of being ostracized, which totally happens in Hollywood. All it takes is a couple of phone calls, a couple of tweets, a couple of emails, and you're done. And he's a man of color, mind you. Yes, he is. He's an in-demand actor, an in-demand comedian, but still, no less, a man of color. So that comes into play, and people want to argue that, oh, you're playing the black card, but honestly, let's keep this so transparent.
Yeah.
Race matters in Hollywood. And even in 2017, when diversity is key and diversity is the thing, race is still a factor. So yes, let's hire Daron. She's biracial, she'll fit that diversity hire.
Yeah.
But and you're great. Hypothetically, you're great, you're wonderful, but yet you're fitting a role.
Exactly.
And a role that right now is in demand, but can easily be eradicated and easily be replaced by maybe a white counterpart or someone else. So Terry Crews knows that, hey, it's not an even playing field in 2017.
It's not, and I think he took a massive risk in, coming out and telling his story. But I think it is paying off. I mean, I think we covered a story on the 4% panel where it's Crews crew. Yeah. So there are, tons and tons of fans that are behind him. I hope there's tons of people in the industry that are still behind him. But I'm really happy that he's continuing to talk about it, regardless of the fact that it seems to be getting a little bit worse for him in the sense that they're trying to bug his house, they're trying to infiltrate his life and basically discredit everything he's saying. He's going to continue to fight it, and I'm on Crews' crew for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad he's one of the silence breakers of 2017, and I think that it does take a lot of strength. I wrestle with my own thoughts of, but this happened to me. I mean, prior to the whole movement that's now transpired since August, mind you, what would I have done? And it makes you really try to be as honest as possible with yourself about this, because I've learned so much about workplace appropriateness, about people's comfort levels that weren't really taught to you. You see, people get comfortable, and you don't know what is uncomfortable for some. And again, Terry Crews was eye-opening for me, and still is. And I'm glad that him and more people are finding the strength to come forward and really, and they're doing it in a respectful way. They're doing it in an educational way, because I think when you educate and you inform and you enlighten people, and you keep doing that, you have no choice but to take heed and to take notice and to listen.
It's true.
People just want to be heard. They want to be heard. They want people to listen to be listened to. And we say time and time again that men are affected. And that was my first mind was about Terry Crews, that men are also victims too. So, I mean, there you guys have it. I advise you guys to read Terry Crews' tweets, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.